Hey everybody, welcome back to the CM42 TV Movie Journal. This is another edition of the Cinema Trips series here on the brand new channel. Hope everybody is doing well.
It's my first time on the channel.
Welcome, Rachel.
Oh my god.
Welcome, Sister Rachel.
I feel like I should get like an initiation guide or something.
We have the television remote. Here, the hand out. Welcome to the CM42 TV Movie Journal, Sister Rachel.
I'm going to give a speech, okay? So I've always wanted this. I want to thank good night.
Well done, proud of you. Right, here we go to talk about our first Marvel film on the entire channel. Now we will revisit Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in about 2 years' time when I get to it in the MCU watch-through series. No
word of a lie, it probably will be about 2 years.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to compare videos, but this is from the first time seen it in the cinema.
Yes.
And we saw it last night at the View, and this is only my second time ever at the View. This first time ever in this particular building of the View, and it's safe to say I'll not be back anytime soon.
Listen, the building was okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. We had basically this video. We're not necessarily going to be talking about the film itself because we don't really have too many controversial opinions on them.
Also, it's just out, so not really.
Right, exactly. Don't want to talk about spoilers and stuff. You have to let films like this digest a little bit before you can talk about them. We're going to talk about mainly our experience at the cinema, which is 70% as oh well, I was going to say 70%, but it's like just as big, if not more, of how much you enjoyed the film when you go see it in the cinema. Now, I love going to see films in the cinema. I believe it is the way films were made to be seen. If you're going to watch a film, if you've got the opportunity to see it in the cinema on a big screen with surround sound and all that stuff, when you're like all the lights are off and you're away from your phone and the outside world and stuff, that's the way you should watch a film, right? So if you go to the cinema and you have a really good experience and what I mean by good experiences is you don't get distracted by anybody. You are 100% zoned in the film.
Even John Boyega comes in and tells you all the rules.
John Boyega, there's an advert before where John Boyega comes in and he tells you, do not talk, do not leave.
Switch off your phone.
Switch off your phone, do all this stuff. Because the experience you want to be immersed and taken in. Especially a Marvel film, where that can happen.
It's annoying because it was such an important film for us because it's like Marvel's such a big thing that we all love so much and we're like, right, brand new film, we have to learn about it because we don't know anything about it and there's no, is it going to connect, like what's it going to do?
Yes.
We're sitting like, oh yes.
So that was
and then this happened.
So that's something Rachel had been saying for like the past week or something, that she was excited to see it because there's a total new thing. There's nothing like you had to know beforehand, you don't have to watch past films and stuff.
Not saying that we haven't, but it's like for a change, it's something
new. We're so used to going to see like the Avengers film, or we're watching
like, so stressed
Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, and we know the characters already and stuff. Do you know what I mean? This is totally brand new. There was, as far as I was concerned, there was no one that we knew really other than Wong, who pops up at one point. And
spoilers!
Was that a spoiler? I felt like he was in the trailer.
I don't think he was, because I didn't know he was in it.
Well, let's not mention anybody else who pops up because that is spoilers.
Okay.
Okay. But so all of that is completely blank. And let's just say this about the film, I really liked it, really enjoyed it, totally recommend. The perfect film to see in a cinema, as I was saying. Great sound, it's a very pretty film. We talked about the music we really liked.
Our dad even said, so our dad's like the biggest Marvel fan I know, like knows everything. And the thing he said when he came out was it's in his top 5 Marvel films.
Well, I mean, he had just seen it, you know what I mean?
No,
that
but
can
this
change
is what my dad said when he left the cinema. And like, that's quite a big statement to make. So he was like, oh, loved it. And
this is my dad who watches a lot of films and watches everything 6 times and stuff, so that is a pretty big statement. But it was just a really nice film, very pleasant, you know, it didn't take itself too seriously. My dad also brought up the point where when things did get a bit serious, there was Marvel do this really well, they bring in a wee joke and light-hearted moment and then takes you right back to the action just to kind of break up a little bit. Lots of that in here. Lots of great acting, not that you need that in a Marvel film, but when it's there it's a bonus. And for me, I loved the fight scenes, the fight choreography. Apparently, is it Dave Allen, is that his name? I believe it was Dave Allen.
I don't know if it was Dave, but it was something Allen. Yes,
he is one of Jackie Chan's fight choreographers, and he sadly passed away, so they did like a sort of thing at the end saying in memory of so and so. So I wonder if he was involved at all in like training and things like that. I don't know when he died. But lots of like Jackie Chan-esque fights in this. The thing I mentioned last night to my sister and my dad was that Jackie Chan always did this thing where he was wearing a jacket, and someone would try and grab him by the jacket, and he would use the jacket as a weapon, and by the end of the movie he'd be back wearing the jacket perfectly. That exact move was in this film, so I was like, oh, like, so Jackie Chan. Things like just flips and using things and throwing it at people, so good. So if you're a fan of that sort of style, another reason to see it.
So, yes, Simu Liu, who was playing, what was his name? Sean?
Sean
Sean
or Shang-chi.
Shang-chi. Was, well, firstly, he was so good in that film, but he's so like excited about the film, and he's so like excited to be part of. That's why I'm talking about him, not the character. He's so excited to be like part of Marvel. I think he's quite a big Marvel fan by the sounds of it, because he did an interview with, I think it was with Josh actually. I don't know who Josh is, but he's an interviewer who interviews a lot of the Marvel cast like all the time.
Josh.
And oh no, he's like the best. And they always play a game with the Marvel cast called, I think it was Guess the Abs, or I guess the muscles or something.
Okay.
And so they got him to do it as like a wee game, because he's thing main. And so like they were just showing him like wee pictures and stuff, and he got them all so like well, and everyone was like, he's one of us.
Yeah.
He's one of us.
He's a fan.
Him. So, but that's just off topic. But anyway, he just seems really like,
great.
and he's like promoting it so much himself. Like Marvel haven't done a very good job of promoting this film.
Sure.
In comparison to a lot of other ones. Like, I don't know if it's maybe
because it's new or whatever.
I don't know if they think maybe it's not going to get the hype that like Endgame did or something, even though it completely is.
Yeah.
They just haven't, I don't know. So he seems like he's carrying the whole promotion thing on his back on his own, but he's doing such a good job. And
see, I think they should promote more for that reason.
Exactly.
Because some people don't, I know people who don't go see Marvel films because they've not seen the last 3 Iron Man films or whatever.
Exactly.
So the fact this is something brand new, you don't need to see anything beforehand, that's a good thing to talk about, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, great film, lots of good choreography. Now, we're kind of building this up. It wasn't the end of the world. We were still able to enjoy the film. There was just certain like audience members of the cinema. So what I wanted to talk about was, if you're going to the cinema, what is your like ideal situation? Because we had a pretty bad one where there was lots of noise going on in the cinema. So if you're ever going to the cinema, don't be one of these people, is what we're going to say.
Yes, I was going to say that. I kept trying to tell myself during it, like, it's not that deep, like, don't get annoyed.
It's not
a
big deal,
just look at the film, like, don't look, because they were sitting right in front of us, the main people that were being
perpetrators, sorry.
Perpetrators, papayas.
Papayas? Yeah, I got papayas, I want one. That was from Kieran and Kel.
No, I can tell. No, so they were sitting right in front of us, like me especially, like the seat in front of me, and I kept like watching them, and I was like just going to just drown it out, but it was so hard.
It was
so hard, but I was trying not to get annoyed. I was trying to just find it funny and not be like raging, because you can't do anything about it, do you know what I mean?
Now, I go to the cinema every single week, right, and I very rarely have a situation like this. Sometimes, like, quite far over, you'll hear someone rustling papers or talking or something, you can live with it, do you know what I mean? It happens, people are people.
People eating popcorn, you can't eat it quietly sometimes.
Right, exactly. It can be a bit frustrating sometimes, but I mean, it might only happen for a minute, 30 seconds or whatever. We had 3 people sitting in front of us who literally, well, 3 people there, 2 people in particular.
That boy
in fact, only one really, because the guy in the middle was just like...
He was bad with the cup thing,
we'll get to that.
To say, but apart from that, it was alright, but the boy on the right hand side, or even the position, the boy on the right.
So the film is about 2 hours, maybe just over 2 hours. How long is it? It is 2 hours 12.
2 hours 12.
He spoke the entire time.
And it wasn't like, doesn't that remind you of... It was like, mate, look.
Yeah, I don't know if that's real, by the way.
Mate, dragons.
Do you really think that's going to happen here? Here, by the way, see when I was watching the football the weekend?
Nothing about the film.
Things like that.
Like, it wasn't like, because sometimes I'll be thinking, oh my god, that's like us. Like,
quickly. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You're watching a film with someone, do you know what I mean?
That's fine sometimes if you're quiet and it's just like a once off, like, oh my god.
Because you're talking to the person sitting next to you.
But it was
not
like...
the room.
But if it's like... Oh mate, see after this, I might actually go get some food or something.
Do you know what? I think I might go to the toilet. Will I go to the toilet? Nah, I'll leave it.
And he was like, oh no. And I was like, oh my god.
He took his jumper off and they put it back on at one point. So they're all talking, right?
I was hoping he was going to leave at that point.
Yeah,
no, come back. He was going to walk out.
This
film,
like, okay. Push or whatever and then leave. He didn't, he came right back in.
I think he liked the film, to be honest.
I think he did. I actually made the joke, I was like, we need to go see this film again so I'd be able to hear some of the dialogue.
I was saying to my mum, like, really loud during it. I was like, did you like it? I wouldn't know, I didn't hear half of it being pure, like, obnoxious.
It was bad. It was really bad for the talking. And I've had a couple of experiences where there's been lots of talking that's been really loud and off-putting. Not so much that we could hear everything they're saying, it's just because there could be like a really nice moment between two of the characters and you're kind of getting invested and you just kind of hear the like from like a different, and it just kind of like develops your attention, you know what I mean?
Did you notice it was literally the quiet parts
Yes.
of the film as well? Like not, it was the whole film anyway, right? But you'd think, especially when it gets quieter, like obviously Marvel films there's lots of noise during like fight scenes and
Yes.
like whatnot, like weapons and stuff. So like there is chances for you to be like, I'm just going to go to the toilet, like to quite quiet and stuff. No, this was like a dramatic reveal or something, or like wee heartfelt
family
like,
moments and stuff.
flashbacks and stuff, and he's like talking over it and making all sorts of noise. The only time that's ever happened to me before was Mamma Mia 2, and they were just, it was these three women and they were like, I don't know what age to say, middle-aged, and they were like singing and like talking to each other about the film and stuff, and I was like, right, do you know what, it's Mamma Mia, it's a bit more, not acceptable because you're still in cinema, but it's like...
But there's music playing and like everybody knows the songs.
And there's not really that many quiet moments in Mamma Mia either, but it's like you're in a Marvel film, like you're trying to hear the film. As
a cinema goer, right, I know what film I'm seeing. And I know that it's Marvel, it's going to be loud at points, so I actively do this. If I have sweets or if I want to do something that's going to make noise, I'll wait.
Same with drinks, I do that as well.
Because even if it's just a bit of music or a quick 3-second explosion or something like that, I will do it then. The worst experience I've ever had was when I went to see A Quiet Place in 2019.
Which is ironic.
And the word quiet is in the title of the film, and there was so many people, and it felt a lot like that last night because although these three people in front of us were the ones making the most noise, it was a noisy room. Like it wasn't just them; they were the main ones, but there was someone right behind me talking the whole time and rustling,
coughing and sneezing, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
And a pandemic, cover your mouth, or at least make an effort to do that or something. There was someone who kind of looked like Jamie Redknapp, like just down on the kind of my professional vision on my right hand side, kept talking.
Not provisional, that's not the word.
That's your driving licence. Things like that, like it was just a noisy, and I was just like, come on guys, do you know what I mean? But also, here we go, here's the next thing. So they were talking, which is our biggest no-go, right? At the cinema, they can't hand out mugs or glasses, one for health and safety reasons, but also because they're noisy, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You get paper cups, not made to make noise. And I actually, so we got a drink, I got a Coke, and I was with the straw and I was drinking, and I was like, tastes really good, lots of ice in it, like really chilled, like it's really, I like Coke like that. It was like draft Coke, there's a difference between draft Coke and bottled Coke and stuff, we all know this. Rachel knows this. So I was like, great, and I was complimenting the drinks, but it looked like the people in front of us also got that, and they loved ice. They're addicted to ice. So they must have finished. They must have finished their drink between 5 and 50 minutes of the film.
No, even.
And the rest of the film is 2 hours and 12 minutes. Does ice not melt? These people kept. This was the three of them, right? The three of them were doing this.
No, the boy on the left was not.
The wee boy on the
left. I genuinely didn't think this boy was with them, and I was starting to think, I feel bad for because it's loud for us.
I don't have something to demonstrate. I don't have a cup. So they're drinking it, right? So like this.
Try to get the ice out of it.
Throwing the ice back.
And obviously the ice is making noise.
Shaking it. Ice. And the ice is rattling, and it's a kind of cardboard paper cup, and it's kind of rattling off it.
And then they're putting it down, and they're like.
So instead of going like, quiet, it was like. But like, I understand the talking because you're maybe that bit or whatever. But this is something you would do if you did this in a pub, but other people would hear it. Do you know what I mean? It was, and the fact it was a quiet room. You know what I mean? It was just so off-putting, so distracting.
And it was every last piece of ice in that cup. Like even when there was like, you could hear how many ice cubes were left in the cup. Like there was a bit where he had like one left.
I was like, thank God.
And he was like trying to get it out the bottom. And it was like not moving, and he kept putting it down, and he kept trying again, and as if it was like waiting for it to melt a bit. And I was like, is this ever going to end? Like, and then you could hear that it was like one left. And I was like, oh, thank God for that. But it was honestly the last 10 minutes of the film.
Oh, thank God for that. And then the film ended.
Honestly, but also the popcorn. They were eating popcorn and stuff at the start, and like lucky it was the trailers, the very start of the film. Even they were doing that pure noisily, and I was like, I said to Chris, mind I said to you at the very start.
You did. I'm gonna take a chair.
Because we were talking really loud during
the trailers,
the bit where they're like, turn off your phones. This isn't coming up, and I was like, I know. And I went to Chris, I went, see if they don't stop talking, I'm going to kick one of their chairs, which was a very childish thing. I was not going to actually, well, I did think about it, but I was like, no, Rachel, don't do that.
You don't want to be that person.
I didn't want to be the one, like, I'm never going to do that. Like, I'm not that
Yeah.
type of person. But I was that close to actually going like, can you please stop that? But
Well, I was laughing.
I said to you, didn't I? Because I turned around and went, if they talk that whole
Yeah.
film, and then they actually did. Like, I was kind of joking because I was like, no, they'll shut up in the film starts and they're listening. No.
So I was laughing because it was almost like, so if that happens all the time, that happens to me. Say for example, there's a quiet bit in the film and I accidentally rattle papers and it's really loud. Oh, I'm like, oh god, like sorry.
Don't do it again.
And I realised that was loud. I won't do it again. Or whatever. I was laughing because it's like, do they not know that it's so loud? But then did his pal not know that it's so loud because he kept doing it too? You know what I mean? Like he would.
And why did the third boy not say to them?
I know.
By the way, that's really
I
rude.
guess you just don't put yourself in that situation, do you? Like I wouldn't say to my pal, like
I would if I was at the cinema with my friend and they kept doing that, I'd be like, shh.
Aye, you're gonna stop doing that.
I'd like make
Oh,
a
it was
joke about it.
nuts.
I'd be like, oh my god, that was so loud. Like,
Aye.
shh. Like
Your cup's so loud.
I'd mention it. I wouldn't go like,
Oh.
mate, go to stop. I wouldn't pure square up to them, but I'd be like, oh
It
my
was
God,
it was
stop.
really bad, and it had an effect on our enjoyment in the film. And I just know as time goes on in life, we're going to enjoy this film more. It was just hindered because of
Also,
that. You know
though,
what I mean?
it was the first time seeing it, so again,
Right, of
like,
course.
you see the film more, you love the
I
more.
know,
anyway.
but-
I did the same with Captain Marvel, where I wasn't.
But I know for the rest
Obsessed,
of the time now,
and now I love it,
the
so-
rest of the time, I'm going to be thinking about it.
No, but
you know
it's
what I
kind of a funny story now that
Yeah.
we can watch a film. Well, not yet, but we will be able to watch a film when it's out and like other like Blu-ray and like
Yeah.
Disney Plus and stuff or whatever. Is it getting put? I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of funny now because it'll be like, oh, mind that time we went to see
Yeah.
Shang-Chi and it.
So this is good. It's probably my third worst cinema experience ever.
The third worst.
Yeah. First one would be Quiet Place. Second one would be
I Tonya.
Creed 2, where the person behind me kept talking the whole time, and I was getting ready to like turn around and say something,
Then Shang-Chi. Then I Tonya.
and then the person's phone rang behind me,
God.
and I was thinking, right, okay, he might leave and take the call. He answered the phone in the cinema, and I actually said the words, "No, I'm not busy. I can talk," and had the conversation on the phone until the end of the film.
It.
So that was really bad. And then Shang-Chi number 3, and number 4, I Tonya. Someone had a stroke.
Which was not their fault.
Which is not their fault, but it's just
But
that every time I think of I Tonya, now I think of that. But yeah,
Hopefully
horrendous
okay.
cinema experience. Great film.
I too would have a stroke seeing Sebastian Stan
Don't joke with that.
on the big screen.
So yes, please go see Shang-Chi. Go support
Hopefully
these
have
films.
a better
Hopefully have a good film.
experience.
But we're sharing this experience for you all. Just you might. I'm sure these people weren't trying to ruin everybody's experience. It was a busy cinema, and it was
Very
the
ignorant people.
it was the most like busy it's been since COVID, and I was a bit kind of
Yeah.
weird about it anyway. But you might not notice that you're doing it, but try and take note. Don't be one of these people, and think about other people. There's a reason why you're told to put your phone away. There's a reason why you're told not to talk. It's not just for your own enjoyment. You have parted with money. You have paid to see this film. There's no need to talk through it. You can talk outside. Just think about yourself, your enjoyment of the film, your pals, but also the other people who could be big Marvel fans, could have been looking forward to it all week.
That was also
Things like that.
the first, not the first showing of it, but the first day
Day of release,
of
yeah.
release, and so it was a really busy screen, like which Chris just said, like it's not been like that since we've been back to the cinema.
Yeah.
So you'd think like it's a lot of big Marvel fans that have.
But they don't
waited
know
for-
that. These people, these
No,
guys.
but you'd think like people have been waiting to see this film. This is the first time this is
Aye.
out.
Aye, but that thought process just doesn't go through their mind because they're not the type of people who would like actively look forward to one of these films.
Unless
You know,
they are, and they just
maybe
still
that's what they
don't
were
care.
talking about. They were like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to go and rattle this ice in this film." You know what I mean?
Mate, see, we go to cinema night. I'm going to eat so much ice.
Oh, I can't wait to get this ice. Cinema ice. I'm gonna call this video that. Cinema ice. Right. Thanks very much for watching.
Thanks for listening to our rant.
Yeah, we had to rant about that. Go see Shang-Chi, go talk about Marvel, but after the cinema experience.
Please.
Don't be one of these people. But until then, we love you lots.